Hello, hello.
Woo! Hello, what a journey again.
Hey, how you doing, Maggie?
How you doing, Jenny Spiritualist? What's up? Shaka,
Um,
call me.
hello. Let's see. So we just kind of started going live here, and I'm seeing if there's any way to invite people or
Oh, is there
react,
Deborah in the
share.
house? Hi, Deborah.
So, you know what I thought we would talk about for sure is like how to be ready when you're not prepared.
Yeah, sounds excelente.
Okay. So,
How to be ready when you're not prepared. Okay, so let's just call it on the carpet. In this industry, in this world that continues to try to conform us into these boxes of the matrix to say that you got to be XYZ in order to be ABC. I mean, is it really true? Like, there's a best way, a best practice to have a child. But even if you have all the stops pulled out, are you ever really ready for that baby? Even the
no, well,
person,
that's the perfect. That's exactly the analogy I used when people say I don't feel ready, and I'm like, you're never ready. You just you just do it.
yeah,
You're never really ready till you're doing it.
yeah.
Then you become feeling more confident.
So we are really like logical women. Rubber meets the road. We know that, you don't want a surgeon who's never seen an open heart procedure jumping in. But guess what? That happens, just to let you know. But what we're trying to say is like prepare for the day, prepare for the moment to the best of your ability. But still, things can get in the way, such as maybe you got COVID, maybe you got the flu, maybe you got COVID and a flu.
Yeah,
Maybe you have a family member in end of life. Maybe you have a family member whose loved one or they broke up with their boyfriend or their girlfriend and they're in this certain situation. Maybe they lost their job. Maybe, they're just down in the blues. There's a lot going on around the world. And there's just this angst and this feeling like no matter what you do, you won't be enough or you won't be ready. And this is what me
right.
and Jenny are saying. In the bottom of the ninth, you never, ever, ever give up before 5 minutes before that miracle. This is what
I
we're
love that.
chatting
And
on.
listen, you don't give up. You just show up and you just do because you have faith that's all going to work out. Because why not?
Right.
The alternative is depressing. So,
Yeah.
like, why not be hopeful? Just and show up. So to get to, like you said, calling it out, but like, okay, so I did not feel prepared. And yet I know when I talk to Maggie, it all comes out and everything that we want to share comes through, comes out. And so we just turned it on without any notice. And here we are and talking about the being ready and stuff. So I wanted to kind of highlight a little bit of business aspects. I don't know if anybody is in the future going to have questions or not. But like, I kind of am calling this right, like expand, elevate with an entrepreneurial. It's an entrepreneurial flavored show,
Mm-hmm.
and you are an entrepreneur, and so I figured you could share some stuff about people who are starting their own business, have their own business, want to elevate their own business. Do you have anything that you would like to talk about tonight in that vein about business?
So, in that aspect, I would say that you are the kung fu master and I am grasshopper. Coming in on here. But the big thing about it is at least I'm coming in. So, I'm a baby entrepreneur. I'm a level probably zero in boot camp kind of thing, making my way up. So, what I would say is, I would say that we are some of the most perfect individuals as absolutely not being prepared. But one thing I have learned, one thing, and hi Deborah and hi Lipsticks3, I love your names.
Oh,
One
that's
thing
so
that I
great.
have learned is how else am I ever to be prepared unless I walk through the halls of unpreparedness, preparing for the day to be prepared. And not
Right.
only that, once I am prepared and equipped, I have to come through a point of like novice to moderate knowledge to expert. And it's a different, even when you think, oh, I've arrived. There's always going to be something else that the universe will dish up to you to expand your wisdom, expand your business, and expand your businesses to reach a larger target audience. In this show, Expanded Minds is also about lifting the energetic quotient, the love quotient, compassion quotient, um, mercy quotient, peace quotient on the earth. We're here to in it to win it. We're wanting to bring our purpose, our heart and mind aligned, and our acts of service to help uplift humanity. So it's like, even though it's an entrepreneur business, and in the 3D it appears as just, hey, two chicks trying to do, well, maybe I shouldn't say two chicks because it's got that cup video, but it's two ladies, two women, and a bunch of other women who are wanting to transform the world through entrepreneurship. And if any of you have not heard of Bree Seeley, I encourage you to jump on her site, Success Becomes Me, and just look up Bree Seeley, because that is her core push, is to help elevate women entrepreneurs. So I'm a
That's cool. I've got male clients though, so I will say I'm not one that's heavy. I mean, maybe I have perhaps more women than men that I work with, but I've always been pretty equal, 50-50.
Well, she's not rejecting men or saying men have to stay out. Like, there's a really big conference in May. Men are completely invited. In fact, women entrepreneurs rising to the top of the business plateau is absolutely intertwined with masculine energy in the men of the world. This isn't like I'm up here, screw you. This is like, I'm up here, benefit you, and we're all
Yeah.
benefiting each other. So it's not like I don't like you kind of thing. But it's just that when she's noticed through business, 88% of female entrepreneurs do not succeed. And so it's a little different world in navigating
Oh, wow.
for women through men. And so that's part of the thing. She will, and she is breaking that glass ceiling so that women can go into the world and give in more meaningful ways. And then
Yeah,
also,
one of I was going to say, you just made me think of something, and that is one of the things I think women are really getting better with, but are awful with historically, is helping other women the way that men help other men. Men have this bro club that they help each other. They go golfing. They connect with one another. They network and send referrals. Women, they're much more guarded. They get jealous. They get catty. They get petty. And I know that sounds really superficial and stereotypical, but like I've experienced it in my own world, like in my life. Now, am I saying that's all women? No, because I always say I'm a really good girl's girlfriend. Like I'm good to women because what you put out is what you get. And so, when I started realizing that instead of feeling threatened or bullied by these women, I just needed to show up as my best self and just keep plugging away and then helping those people under me or newer than me or just beside me that, I was never one of those. I was also, when I was in the workplace, I was younger than a lot of women that I worked with. So entrepreneurs may not be, I'm thinking of corporate. Like in corporate, it was very cutthroat. And as an entrepreneur, you get to work for yourself, which is one of the reasons I was like, I want to work for myself. I don't want to deal with this,
mhm.
you know. But helping co-create, like we're doing on this show, co-creating, our energy together is
Yeah.
exponential.
Yes.
Exponentially like magnifies. So it's not just 1 + 1 = 2. It's like 1 + 1 equals like, yeah.
So
So
most
that's
easy
exciting.
money. You know, the thing about it is like with us and the women that we are partnering and the men that we are partnering, there is love, there is joy, there is support. We do not have that backbiting, backstabbing thing going on. We are elevating each other to our highest level of consciousness and business. But what brings me to mind what you're saying, I think we've all experienced that with people. You either experience their higher nature, their higher order values, which they live out, or their lower nature, the lower out order values they live through. Now, we on
Right.
any given day can be dishing any one of these, but those who are on a spiritual path and who are coming into union with the Creator, we know that there's nothing we do to another that isn't pushed back or re-experienced to ourselves. Who we know taking those lower, those envious, jealousy, or backstabbing doesn't work. The thing is, just like how we have the signs, right? You have the Libra. The Libra has two sides. The Libra can be balance the scales and love everybody and try to help all these things. But then at the same time, the Libra can be air sign, right? Can be aloof, can also overcommit. So the same thing with women and men. You're going to find that women either can harbor that like jealousy that, oh my god, she's getting ahead, I gotta compete, or why don't I have that? And I think that's just a sign as to where we as women are going to heal as women and as mothers and as sisters and as entrepreneurs and everything, because that's our, to me, that's not our true nature. Our true nature is of unstoppable power. Our true
Yeah.
nature is of complete healing. Our true
And
nature,
nurturing. Our true
yeah,
nature is nurturing.
the womb of all creation, yes, of nurturing, of uplifting one another, of holding. And when you look at like the women of that are really like tapped in, you just see that they are able to give from a place of no loss. It doesn't matter how much they are giving out, they're so tapped into source that it is like giving from a place of never losing, because they are God, they are the source, they are the
They're
goddess.
unconditional love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. I am a Libra moon
Yeah.
and a Pisces sun. I have two signs that are have the two sides.
Yay.
I
We just had your pink full moon.
know my pit. That was my moon.
It was
Do
beautiful.
you know anything about that? Because I haven't even had time to look it up, and I'm like, I know we just had it.
Well, I know that we have just so many experts, but let's see. What is my handy dandy notebook here? I don't know everything in the whole world. I try to keep it simple. But
You
in
kind of do, but go ahead.
I did my full moon. Yeah, yeah. I did my pink full moon on my channel. And I just asked us to, it correlates with springtime and it
Mhm.
correlates with like all things new. And it correlates with the blooming of the pink wildflowers known as the moss pink. Now it has other names, but I would have like chopped it up and it would have ended up into a rap sound. I think they had like a genus and species and all that stuff. But anyway, it is associated with the arrival of spring. So we want to be thinking about freshness. Fresh is starting to become a word for me. Courage is my word this year, but momentum is my other word. Fresh is starting to pop, 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 pop. Who doesn't want to be fresh?
You know what
Um,
my word is this year? Lift.
Left.
Lift.
Yay.
It was so interesting. I was like, lift. That can mean so many things.
Yes. And I'm sure it means every single one of the things that pop up for you.
Well, mostly, yeah, mostly it's about helping other people, helping lift others, and also just feeling and appreciating the lift I receive.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. Yeah, I just want to take this commercial break to just thank you very much for all the lifting and help and just the nurturing that you do and all the people that, because it's not just like to yourself, but it's in your immediate household, and then it's this huge parameter of other spiritual and entrepreneurs and just people in the community. You're always supporting your community businesses. Like, you're always thinking from not just this over the top out there, but you're always starting at the core, which is so beautiful to take it from the core and spin
Well,
it out.
that's why, listen, to tell you the truth, when I thought about, talking about being prepared and being ready, you have to be you. So sometimes you will feel on and sometimes you will feel off, but you will still be because you are I am. You're always am. You always are you.
Like hamming and not lorazepaming.
You're amming. You're amming. You got to am. You got to feel the am. And when you am as is.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can also brush your hair a little bit, but
Take it.
Maggie, multidimensional Maggie has the best hair on the planet.
Oh,
Shake it,
well, I
girl.
don't know about that, but I'm very
You do. You
grateful.
have great hair.
Oh, thank you. When I got poisoned, I lost almost all of it.
Oh,
I literally had, I looked, like a chemo, I had very few pieces left. And so it's been just such a long journey in my healing, as
hmm
I've been going through treatment and everything. And to have this much hair, I just want to take this commercial break to thank all of our hair. But
Thank
I
you, hair.
thank you, hair. Thank you, God. I did not think too that my hair, because I used to keep my hair about this long. It was really cute, and my daughter kept having all these memories of when she was little and when my hair was very long. Because I used to always have really long hair, and
Yeah, I like long hair
that
myself.
point when it really you know was very, there was nothing, or if it was, it was like poisoned. And then in the process, as I've like been rebuilding and taking treatment and everything, diet and the whole thing. Then when COVID hit, you couldn't do anything, and then my hair just grew down my back, and it was like I never thought I could do that again. And I'm very grateful for my hair and what I have, and thank you for your compliment.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think, hair is one of those fun things if you let it be. If you're graced with a good head of hair and you can let it be fun and let it be um, an expression of
Mhm.
you can have fun with it, cutting it, coloring it, shaving it, whatever you want with it.
Everything,
I've
yeah. Like
Yeah, I've always found hair fun.
like love, or yeah. There's just so much that you can do with hair, and I just think it's
So here's a good question. Let me ask you this, because I've noticed there is kind of this older, I'm going to say it's older. I don't know that it's older. There's this previous energy of looking professional.
Mhm.
And I am of the mindset that just I show up and I am a professional, so therefore I don't have to look the part. And I know that goes against what everybody tells you. Look the part, dress the part, and I'm like, how about you just be you?
Right.
How about you just be in a t-shirt and be like, I know so much stuff and I can share and teach people. How about that? Does it matter if I'm wearing a power suit and I'm in my power pose looking up? Like, I don't know.
Well,
But the jury's still out on that for me because I'm kind of like, I get it. You want to look like $1 million because people go, ooh, I want to be that. But like, don't
how
you
do
just
we
want to
learn?
be
How do
authentic
we
and be
learn that
you?
that was the thing to be, right? That's why they call them monkey suits. But I want to just
Yeah, I
say
used to wear it and couldn't stand it. I hated it.
we are
I
all
mean,
on
I got into it as much as I could. I wore my Ally McBeal little suits with the little mini skirts. That was back in the day. But I mean, like now, I would not want to go put on a blazer and like walk around like, oh, I'm professional.
yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
can, but I just don't want to.
spectrum rise though, right? Okay, so let's say you're from an environment that is sort of got the corporate on a pedestal. Then you have not experienced that feeling of actually looking like that badass Ally McBeal in the suit, right? And so that
Right.
person works through the trenches and eventually enters into like Wall Street or into corporate. And now the dress code is this business suit, the power blazer, blah, 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 right? But everything has its course in our learning. Like we are all in states and we're experiencing different things. So then now you get this full experience like, wow, I've been in the power suit, I've been looking like a badass, I've done everything they told me, I've actually lived out this experience, and now I'm tapped out. And this isn't who I am. I want this. It's kind of like everything is an experience. Like if the person has an
Yeah.
experience that they're going to want to experience that. And once they've tapped it out, then they're going to shift to an, like, that's why you see like a lot of veterans, right? When veterans in the military get out, what do you see a lot of? I refuse to shave my beard. I refuse to cut my
Oh
hair.
yeah.
I
I'm like,
refuse
I don't know what we
to
see.
dress
Oh yeah.
right. I refuse to judge. I refuse. I'm gonna get that nice 2030, and I'm gonna do when I like, so when you watch girls like, this is something, but private school, our uniforms in private school, you watch, okay, that's really great. It can save the family fun, money and stuff. But whenever they allow the kids in private school in uniforms to have like Friday free dress, holy shit, it's like a movie, like everything from goth to Khaleesi. And then you got the teachers having to send people home and, I'm sorry, you're not supposed to dress like Cardi B today. Like that might be on your off time. So it's just so interesting because how we dress, if it's from our heart, is actually an expression. I heard once with kids. Okay, they were fighting over dress code in one of the schools my children was in, and they were saying, "No, we want them in uniforms." And one of the parents got up, who was a psychiatrist or psychologist and worked with a lot of children. She said, "Listen, one of the things that I've learned through my research is dressing is a way that people can express themselves. So the more that we can allow the kids to express themselves within parameters that are, you know, keep everybody safe and not too suggestive, right? Not too short and not down here or boobies out."
Right.
She said the more that they can express themselves through their dress code, there's actually research to show that it lowers the risk for drug use, alcohol abuse, having sex,
Oh, I believe that because you're not giving them the stress of being someone they don't feel comfortable being.
instead of like doing, free base and some coke, their hair is purple. Now their hair might be purple and they might free base, but the
Mm.
bottom line is there's a lot to be said about when a person can express themselves. But then you also got that other spectrum that is saying if you want to join the club. So, the corporate and all that stuff, it's kind of a club. I mean, there's etiquette, there's actually a way they want your hair, the way they want your makeup, a way they want your clothes, a way they want you to speak, a way they want you to walk, a way they want you to sit. And it's kind of part of being in the club. But then if we go to a different club, they want us to wear a jersey and
Different rules.
yeah, and
Yeah.
have, high heel Air Jordan shoes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think, what you've expressed is just you be you, and what great respect that we have that you have had that experience and that you're able to coach from that place. You know,
Yeah.
I think
I
that's,
mean, I shouldn't be so judgmental against it, but you're right. Having that experience is what's informed me that, I have a preference
yeah.
and I prefer other than that. Um, because
You know, I'm a nurse, and one of the things is, I'm pretty cutie, you know, and one of the, it's kind of important while you are over there honking along doing chest compressions on somebody or some of the things you're doing. It's like
right.
important that you are actually covered because so it's difficult for certain people in your environment to stay focused on life-saving measures, which is not reviving me. So I would always like, I actually enjoy, some people hated wearing scrubs. I loved wearing scrubs. I would I'd be the Puritan of scrubs. I'd be covered from the top to the bottom, and I always kind of tended to wear on the baggy side to try to, so minds would stay where they belong.
Yeah.
But it was always very fun as nurses when you were in your scrubs, or also I worked with the military, they would be in their uniform. It always very fun whenever there was an event where one was allowed to dress, dress. There was always a rules, but we were allowed to dress more free. And I always loved that because everybody would come, I mean, to the nines. Like they looked like they took the shower of the century. Every last piece of dead skin gone. That
Oh,
hair
that's
all
nice.
like shaved down, and they'd have like some of the or corn rolls, or they'd have their hair curled, or I just love that to just watch people express themselves through clothes.
So do
So
you think, that's what I'm saying though, do you think that if you dress like $1 million, that helps you feel like $1 million every day?
yes, I think it can if you are in the mindset of chasing that million. Because there's a subgroup. So let's say, for instance, that we were going to go into a group of corporates, and I decided to wear my fluffy sweatpants. I gotta tell you, I have my little slough outfit that I wear.
Okay. Uh-huh.
A little sweatshirt, and I go. So I have a kid, a daughter. All my kids look like supermodels, right? And I'm over here in my slough outfit. People automatically do judge you by that. So if I was to take that and go into a corporate meeting, I'm probably the last person that they would choose on their team or for talent.
Right.
Now, walk in
That's a
there.
good point.
So it's like its energy and its form is a time and a place. Now you and I
Mm.
both know you can be in a room full of suits and blazers, and nobody's got the talent they're looking for.
And nobody's got any
Somebody
kind of
falls in the room.
energy you want.
Yeah, somebody falls in the squishy suit with the sweats, and you realize, wow, she's a brilliant woman beyond measure. This is who we're going to have. But we know that in life, it's timing and it's place. But when you are setting yourself up to a mindset of success, prosperity, that is one of them. That is recommended by corporate or bankers or
It's
whatever.
interesting because does it go against New Earth?
Well, it's fashion, right? Fashion is the most destructive
It's awful.
industry for, yeah. So once again, it's going to depend on where you get your clothes. But I want to say something before I forget. Commercial. Brian Scott brought up a wonderful, he said this in his, because I identify with this. Because I like to just dress how I want to dress. But Brian Scott brought up in one of his recent lectures, I don't think it was a self control one, but I think it was on prosperity or the golden cloud or
Yes.
whatever. But
Yes. I was actually listening to that earlier, the prosperity one.
in it, he said he used to work in corporate and he had to wear the shirt and la la la. And for him, abundance means getting out of bed in his pajamas and walking to his office. And then while
Yeah,
other people wouldn't understand that, he
I
would. So
understand.
you see how when you look,
I understand that. That's how I feel exactly.
yes. But the thing about it is we're on like, so think of 360 degrees. You and Brian, this is something I've noticed a lot, okay? You and Brian have already had that experience. And
Right.
that's where you can say, been there, done that, don't want to go back. But for other people who haven't created their millions yet, did you catch that, Jenny? Did you catch
Yeah,
what
I
this kid?
caught that.
For the other people who haven't made their millions yet, they haven't had that experience. So in their journey, in their state, as Neville would say, they're in the pursuit, and their mentorship is basically telling them this is the way. And there are a lot of people who are going to dress to impress, and they will make
Right.
that first million. And then there are others who may not make it. And that's all part of the way the spirit gets
Yeah.
you to where you belong.
It's funny because when I used to work, I was a buyer, a shoe buyer for retail, like stores. And I would go to these shoe shows, and we would be all the buyers, we would all be dressed in suits. All the people who work for the companies would all be dressed in suits. But independent owners of businesses, the entrepreneurs, the ones who own their own business, would always be in jeans
And
and
black.
t-shirt.
Yeah,
And I remember saying to myself, see, that's real success.
right.
When you don't have to dress in a suit, you get to dress however you want because you have all the money you want and you get to do whatever you want. Like to me, that was, I know, and I was like, maybe 26 at the time, 27. And I was like, I know that's part of my programming, right? Like I thought that is success. And so when I got to do that and own my own store and be my own boss and go to the shows as a owner,
Yes.
I felt so good in my jeans. I was like, I'm in
Yeah.
my jeans
But
because
see,
I don't care.
remember now, there's a lot of people who've never even had a tenth of your success. They haven't even
Right.
formulated clothing, like they're stuck in jeans. They can't even get to the
Yeah, they
suit.
don't think of jeans as an elevation. They think of it as like this is how I am, right?
Well, they're in jeans, and they're not even able to get to the corporate, and then to get back to the jeans of an entrepreneur. So it's all different wavelengths and spectrums and experiences
Yeah.
you have. You
You're
know,
so right. So there's no one rule, no one way.
I mean, like
I
I
love
when
that.
Diane said that to me about getting up, and that made total that resonated with me so big time because well, you want to be careful that if you're on like one of these, oh my god, that you do have pants on by act like I mean like be joy all you want, but I do
Oh
kind
my
of
gosh.
remember once where I was in something and I forgot about thought, and then I thought because of this, but I forgot those, and then I ended up on I'm abundance, yo, but no one wanted to see that. So
You're so funny. That's great. That
I
happened a lot going around when Zoom all of a sudden everybody was in for COVID and people were like just dressing from the waist up for showing up.
oh, Chikata. Oh my gosh, she has hearts on her
So funny.
face. It's like, oh shit. What how do you know that? Oh, and you're like, oh gosh, okay. And then the other thing I've always thought about too is like I saw this beautiful presentation by this woman in Cuba, and I'm sorry I cannot remember her name, but she talks about like how in Cuba there's not this constant advertising and there's not like the magazines and everything. So she says that to be like sexy and magnetic, and it's part of their value system, and that when you're walking down the street you are like flirting and everyone's flirting, and but they also are they are how do you say there's respect, but there's when she came to America she was kind of surprised and she's like, gosh, nobody knows how to flirt here, and nobody knows, and also everybody's so worried about what they look like and their hair color and this and that, and she goes, not in Cuba. She says in Cuba, because they're not bombarded by all these advertisements, their thought form is, I am the sexiest brunette. Oh yeah, that's right, Chimes, come on. I am the sexiest brunette in the room. I am the sexiest brunette in Hawaii. And I am going to walk down there with my nice hair and my beautiful Moldavite. And you're just like, okay, this is what I've got. If I've got two toes, I'm working them two toes. And they are the sexiest two toes you ever saw. I got to go look that up. But I just loved it because she was really empowering people to drop the bullshit, drop what people are trying to tell you is sexy or is beautiful or is whatever, and look
Right.
to find out how you really express yourself. And that's something, before I even saw our podcast, I always thought, like, if someone didn't tell me how to be, what would I actually look like? Well, what would my eyebrows actually look like at this point? What would my hair look like at this point? Would it just have never been cut and been, you know all the way to,
I would have dreadlocks.
yeah, like, what
I'd
would
probably have
what would
dreadlocks.
if we weren't like indoctrinated into this and that, and like, so it's just you watch people kind of hermitize, or one I finally really, from my life, I understand that hermit, becoming a hermit, because after a
Hmm.
certain point, when you get to a point, you're sort of going into the silence and you start to come into union with God. It's not that you reject the world, but you just see that so many things are at different levels of like, still they're
Yeah.
not awake or whatever, and
You're
then
losing your attachment to everything.
yeah, and I can just see how there would be tremendous joy. Like for me, I always imagine myself I've had this since a kid, but I just see myself in Montana in the deep woods with the trees and the wolves, and I have a fire and I'm dancing around, clothes optional, under the full moon, under all the moons, and then everything, and I'm just out there in this it's just this great sense of peace. It's like
Mm,
being one with the land, not being like bothered by city lights or excess chatter. And people do join in my thing, but everybody is like in a state of um,
bliss.
bliss and like giving, and there's no like having to, you know, um, watch yourself from somebody's ulterior motives. It's just in the bliss of the earth, in the bliss of the breeze, in the bliss of the land, in the bliss of the sacredness, in the bliss of the ancestors. I see myself in places in the, in
That's so
the,
beautiful, Maggie.
yeah, it's like I'm a wild wolf. Like,
You're going to have a retreat,
yeah,
multidimensional retreat in Montana.
yes, yes. I would love that.
You're like, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Well, it was
Put that
funny.
on the list.
I went to a wedding for one of my employees, and it was so funny, but like I knew like everybody at the wedding except the people in her family. And by some course event, I ended up stuck at this table. Like, I came in, and so I just ended up with them, and I made all these friends, and they were all from Montana. And it was so cool because the whole table, men and women both, were like, honey, you belong in Montana. Like, they were talking
That's
about
so
how
wild.
you feed this kind of berry to the bear, and then the bear tastes this way, and you feed this to the bear, and then how succulent the berries are, and the roads, and they're doing all this like organic farming, and they're just
Right.
nicest people, just
You
like,
know where I'm from. You know where I was born.
let me guess, Montana. Oh my gosh.
I was literally born in Montana.
Oh, I don't know. There's just something, and there's also something about Texas somehow. I have a lot, things in my things. East. I got some East Coast entanglement.
Well,
Definitely.
you got to come out here to New York. Yeah, this is what we're working on that.
Yes, we are. We are.
Yeah. Oh, well, I could talk to you all night, but we're gonna end it here so that we can come back on again.
Another
New
day.
show, new kinds of topics that have to do with expanding, all the things. Expand your mind, expand your income, expand your impact, expand your influence, right?
That's right. And I
Cool.
wanted to also say, like, her, Jenny Spiritualist. Guys, make sure you're following her. She's got
I changed it, Maggie. I changed it to expand to elevate. No,
expand, elevate. We're going to be putting.
no, I didn't. I'm sorry. Is it expand to elevate or is it the elevated entrepreneur? I did both of those. This show's expand to elevate.
Okay.
I forget my YouTube now. I changed
What
it.
we're going to do, guys, what we're going to do is next show we come back, we're going to have more information for you,
Yeah.
because the whole premise of this show was like, what do you do when you're not prepared to be prepared? And so, do you see? This is what you do. You walk forward boldly anyway, and
hmm
you figure things out. And so, you are watching me and Jenny, Spiritualist,
But
figure it
you
out.
can't look. I may not remember the name of my own channel right now, but and we're broadcasting on it right now. But you are 8 I am Maggie. So
Three
also,
exclamation points.
guys, go there. 8 I am Maggie. Three
Yeah.
exclamation points.
Yeah. Yes, guys, I'm just do daily posts to like, it's a positive channel to uplift you. We're doing a momentum challenge, and we're just throwing out positivity left and right. So pick up what you want and lay down what you don't need. But we are just so glad, and we just want to encourage you that if you are not prepared, just continue to walk forward boldly, because there's no such thing as a perfect moment. We make the moment. So, boom.
Boom. Love it.
Boom. Okay.
All right. Well, then hopefully we will get together in Power after this, and we will set another time, and we'll set it up so that there's notices and everything. So
Yes.
Until next time, guys.
Next time.